윤지인 옌상의 중요한 오거지야.
Kim Taehyung's GQ Korea February 2026 appearance is not just another fashion spread. It is a moment that reset visual expectations across luxury and pop culture. In a single release, he bridged intimacy and spectacle, proving why his presence still commands global attention. Kim Taehyung's GQ Korea February 2026 campaign arrived with the force of a cultural recalibration rather than a routine magazine feature, immediately reshaping the conversation around fashion, luxury, and presence in the post-service era. What unfolded was not simply a cover reveal, but a layered visual narrative that reminded audiences why his image continues to function as both inspiration and disruption. The first images, particularly the now viral white bathrobe paired with fiery red hair, ignited immediate discourse across fashion and fan communities alike. The contrast was deliberate and intelligent. The stark cleanliness of the robe against the expressive intensity of the red hair created a study in controlled contradiction, signaling a return to playfulness without sacrificing refinement. This choice echoed earlier phases of his career while clearly belonging to a more mature visual language. It communicated that even apparent effortlessness was the result of intention and taste. Moving seamlessly from that relaxed visual energy into the Cartier-focused editorial, the tone shifted without friction, revealing Taehyung in sharply tailored pinstripe suits and sculptural stillness. The Panther de Cartier watch did not compete for attention, but instead settled into the frame as a natural extension of his presence, reinforcing a core principle of modern luxury, that true prestige whispers rather than shouts. The styling leaned into restraint. Closed eyes, calm posture, and minimal movement allowed the viewer to focus on atmosphere rather than excess, transforming the jewelry into a supporting character rather than the lead. This approach elevated the campaign beyond conventional endorsement and into the realm of visual authorship. What amplified the impact further was the philosophical thread woven through the accompanying interview, where Taehyung spoke about his interest in the many different values that can be called beautiful. This sentiment resonated widely because it offered a conceptual anchor for the visuals, his ability to move from intensity to softness, from masculine structure to ethereal elegance, was no longer just aesthetic versatility, but an expression of belief. Fashion in this context became a medium for emotional range rather than fixed identity. The campaign also succeeded because it maintained a human center. Despite the polish and scale, moments of sincerity cut through the grandeur. Particularly his candid admission about using skincare simply to look good for fans and his lighthearted request for praise. This balance between icon and individual is where his influence remains unmatched. Audiences are drawn not only to the visual perfection, but to the sense of participation in his process. Social media metrics reflected this connection almost instantly, with global trending topics forming within hours and engagement spreading organically across languages and regions. The campaign functioned as both a fashion statement and a signal of return, reminding the industry that his image still moves markets, frames trends, and shapes desire without relying on shock or spectacle. The February issue became less about seasonal styling and more about timing, context, and emotional intelligence in an era saturated with rapid content and aggressive branding. Taehyung's GQ Korea appearance stood out by slowing the viewer down, inviting observation rather than reaction, and reinforcing the idea that true style is not about novelty but about presence. This release did not announce a comeback through noise. It did so through confidence, clarity, and visual restraint, positioning him once again as a figure who does not chase fashion cycles but quietly redirects them. As fashion moves deeper into 2026, Kim Taehyung's GQ Korea moment stands as a reminder that lasting impact comes from intention rather than excess. It invites readers to reconsider how beauty, luxury, and sincerity can coexist in a single frame. Smash subscribe and ring the bell before we come to your room tonight. Also, like and comments to our loved one. Stay tuned for the next drop. See you in the comments, besties. Bye!